to the Multiple Digit Math Man Show. I am your host, Mr. Bjorn Judd, and let's get started with some multiple digit math, man. In this podcast, you will master the skill of multiple digit multiplication. By the end of this podcast, you will be able to complete a problem just like this using the standard algorithm. This skill is used in the real world all of the time. When making skateboards and producing them in mass quantities, when farming and growing crops to sell, in video game design, and when it comes to your payday. And we're going to use this example for the rest of the lesson in payday. As you can see inside the brackets, they have a section called hours and the rate. That's how much the person is earning. And then they multiply those to get the total amount of money earned. So the way we organize this is very important, and it's a lot easier than using a organization method like the block model or expanded algorithm. It's also standardized across the world, so most students in Mexico and in other parts of the Americas are using the same algorithm to do their multiple digit multiplication. So in a month there's approximately 160 hours, and the person example we use makes approximately $19 per hour. So we multiply 160 times 19. So step 1, first line up the digits. Step 2 is to multiply all of your larger digit number on top by the ones place value in the bottom. So we're going to go 9 times 0 equals 0. We place that right below in the ones place value. And we're going to multiply 6 times 9, which will give us 54. We place the 4 below, and then we carry our 5, or regroup our 5 into the hundreds column. And last but not least, we are going to multiply 1 times 9 and add those 5 in there to get 14. In step 3, we want to make sure to multiply the tens place value on the lower number by our multiple digit number on the top. So the first and most important step is to place a place value holder, which is a 0 in this case, in the ones place. So that pushes everything over one place value and makes it possible for us to start right here multiplying 1 times 0, which we then place in the tens place value here. So 1 times 0 equals 0. Next we're going to multiply 6 by 1 equals 6, and 1 times 1 equals 1, which we place in the according place values below. Last but not least, we want to add up our two products. Okay, so we're going to add 0 and 0, of course, equals 0. 4 and 0 equals 4. 4 and 6, we will get 10, but we put the 0 here, and then we regroup the 1 on top, and we are left with $3,040, which is their monthly pay. So another example straight from the CST release questions says a year has 365 days and a day has 24 hours. How many hours are in 365 days? Now I want you to give it a try. Press pause after I remind you of each one of the steps, try it, and then come back to watch me do it on a piece of paper. You may pause at any time. Step 1 is to line up the decimals. So press pause and write down your problem. So our first step is to make sure we line up our numbers by place value. So we have 365 days, and we want to multiply that by the number of hours in each day, which is 24 hours. So I'm going to write the largest digit on the top row. 365 multiplied by 24. 4, the 6 and the 2 are in the tens place, and the 3 is all by itself in the hundreds place. Step 2, you will multiply the top number by the ones place. Don't forget to regroup. Pause and write down your work. The second step is going to be to multiply the larger number by just the ones place in the smaller number. So what I do is I just underline all the numbers I'm going to be working with here in this step to make sure I don't get confused. So first I'll multiply 5 times 4, which equals 20. I place my 0 down here, and I need to regroup the 2 up here in the tens place. Then I'm going to multiply 6 times 4 without forgetting I need to add these 2 back in. So 6 times 4 is 24, plus 2 is 26. Again, I will need to regroup, place the 6 down here in the tens place, regroup the 2 to the hundreds place. Then I multiply 3 by 4, which is 12, and add those 2 in that I regrouped, and I get 14. Step 3 is to multiply the top number by the tens place. Again, don't forget to regroup. Pause and write. The third step is to multiply the larger number by the tens place, so 365 by the 2 that's in the tens place, which represents a 20. In order to make this possible, the simplest way is to add a placeholder. So we add a 0 here as a placeholder. So now it's like moving us over to begin at 20 times 5. And we just go through and say the one-digit multiplication, knowing that with this placeholder here, it keeps the rest organized. So before I start, what I like to do is sort of cross out all of the numbers that were carried on the ones place, and then underline all the things that multiply here in the tens place. So start here with 2 times 10, which is 0, and I need to carry a 1, or regroup the 1. I'm going to multiply 6 by 2 and add that 1 back in, so 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Write down my 1, or 3, and carry the 1 again, or regroup the 1. And lastly, I'm going to multiply 3 by 2, which equals 6, and we'll add back the 1. And the last step is to add the 2 together. Again, when you're adding, don't forget to regroup. Pause and write. And my last step is to then add the 2's together here at the bottom. Now notice the whole time I have kept straight columns for each place value. So when I add this up, it will be easy to stay organized here. So I'm going to add the ones place, 0 plus 0 is 0. Tens place, 6 plus 0 is 6. Hundreds place, 4 plus 3 is 7. And then the thousands place is 1 plus 7 is 8. So I come up with 8,760 hours in a year. You want to give it a shot? Don't let them trick you. Ask yourself, what is the question asking of me? Is it 528 times 49, or is it 528 plus 49? Ooh, you could, if you look at it really quick and glance, you could get tricked and add them up, which does equal 577. But if you slow down, read the problem, look at it carefully, you'll know that you need to multiply. After you've gotten rid of the ridiculous answer, press pause and try multiplying 528 by 49. If you got 25,872, you got it correct. In order to master the skill, please answer the following problems and make sure to show your work. 569 times 14, 857 times 19, and 345 times 13. Hand them in to Mr. Bjorndrill in order to move to the next section. You can do it.